Pay attention to this man. Gym security footage. November 14th, 2023. He's not working out. He's standing by the smoothie bar, pretending to look at his phone. But watch his eyes. They never leave the woman on the treadmill. For the next 47 minutes, he doesn't move, doesn't order anything, just watches. 3 weeks later, that woman switched gyms. She thought she was finally safe. 3 days after that, he posted on Facebook, "Getting my lifetime membership back. See you soon." 4 days after that post, she was dead, found in the passenger seat of a rental car she never rented, parked outside the same gym she'd been trying to escape. And here's what makes this case so disturbing. She did everything right. She reported him. She switched locations. She told everyone who would listen. She even kept a folder on her phone with 847 screenshots of his messages. None of it mattered, because the system wasn't designed to stop someone this obsessed. August 2022, Phoenix, Arizona. Mira Santos is 26 years old, fitness instructor. Originally from the Philippines, she moved to Arizona 5 years ago for nursing school, but fell in love with personal training instead. She works the morning shift at EOS Fitness, the 5 a.m. crowd. Regulars, dedicated people who want to get their workout done before the day starts. One of those regulars is a man named Victor Salinas, 49 years old, quiet, polite, always on the elliptical in the back corner. At first, Mira doesn't think anything of it. He's just another face in the gym. But then she notices something. Every time she teaches a class, he's there. Spin class, HIIT, yoga, boot camp, doesn't matter what it is, Victor signs up. Then the messages start. First on Instagram, then Facebook. Then through the gym's internal messaging system. Then through a second Instagram account when she blocks the first one. "You looked beautiful today. I drove by your apartment. Your lights were on late. Why won't you answer me? I've been nothing but kind to you." By October 2022, Victor Salinas has sent Mira Santos over 200 messages. She's blocked him on every platform. He keeps creating new accounts. And then he does something that changes everything. He finds out where she lives. To understand what happened to Mira Santos, you need to understand who she was. Mira was the kind of person who made everyone around her better. Not in a preachy way. She just radiated this energy. Like being around her made you want to try harder. Mira moved to Phoenix in 2018 with nothing but 2 suitcases and a cousin's address. Within 3 years, she'd built a client list of over 40 regular training sessions per week. She was saving money to open her own studio. She worked harder than anyone I've ever met, 6 days a week, sometimes 7. She'd train clients from 5 a.m. to noon, then do her own workout, then study for her certification exams at night. The girl never stopped. But starting in late 2022, something changed. She stopped going out, stopped posting on social media. She used to share these workout videos every day. That was part of her brand. Then suddenly nothing. I asked her what was wrong, and she just said, "There's this guy." Mira started documenting everything. A folder on her phone labeled Evidence. Screenshots of every message. Photos of Victor's car outside her apartment. A spreadsheet logging every time she saw him at the gym when he shouldn't have known her schedule. She showed me the folder once. It had over 800 files in it. 800. And she told me, "So, if anything ever happens to me, make sure the police see this." Mira Santos spent 18 months trying to escape a man who refused to let her go. She did everything the system told her to do. The system failed her anyway. Between August 2022 and November 2023, Mira Santos switched gyms 4 times. Each time, Victor Salinas found her. Each time, she had to start over. Gym number 1, EOS Fitness, August 2022 to January 2023. This is where it started. EOS Fitness on Thomas Road. Mira had worked there for 2 years. She loved the members. She'd built her entire business there. When Victor's messages got threatening, Mira went to gym management. She showed them the screenshots, hundreds of them. They told her they'd look into it. That was it. They didn't ban him. They didn't even talk to him. They just said they'd monitor the situation. In January 2023, Mira found a note on her car windshield in the gym parking lot. It said, "You can't hide from someone who loves you." She quit the next day, left behind 40 clients and 2 years of work. 3 gyms remain. Gym number 2, Mountainside Fitness, February to May 2023. Mira thought Mountainside would be different. It was 15 miles from EOS, different part of town, different clientele. For 3 weeks it worked. No Victor, no messages. She started rebuilding her client base. Then on March 3rd, she walked out to her car after a morning shift and saw him, standing by his truck in the parking lot, just watching. He didn't say anything, didn't approach her, just stood there with this smile on his face, like he wanted her to know he'd found her. Mira filed her first police report that day. The officer told her that since Victor hadn't made direct threats or physical contact, there wasn't much they could do. She asked about a restraining order. They told her she could try, but it would be hard to prove harassment when the messages were just compliments. Just compliments. 800 messages. And they called them compliments. Victor started showing up at Mountainside 3 times a week, always during Mira's shifts, always watching, never close enough to violate any rule. In May, Mira quit again. 2 gyms remain. GM number 3, Anytime Fitness, June to September 2023. Mira chose Anytime Fitness specifically because it was small. 24-hour access, key card entry. No way someone could just walk in off the street. She thought the security would protect her. For a while it did. She worked there all summer without seeing him. She actually started to relax a little, started posting on social media again. Then in August, one of her clients mentioned something that made Mira's blood run cold. She said, "Hey, that guy who's always asking about you came by again." Mira asked what guy. The client described Victor perfectly. He'd been coming to the gym on different days, asking staff about Mira's schedule, pretending to be an old friend. He hadn't given up. He'd just gotten smarter. Mira installed a security camera app on her phone that would record any time someone approached her car. Within 2 weeks, she had footage of Victor walking past her car 6 times. Always late at night, always when he thought no one was watching. In September, Mira quit her 3rd gym. 1 gym remains. GM number 4, Lifetime Fitness, October to November 2023. Lifetime Fitness was supposed to be the answer. Expensive membership, strict guest policies, real security guards. Mira transferred everything there in October 2023. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. She used a different email address to sign up. She paid in cash when she could. She thought she'd finally found somewhere safe. She told me, "Ben, he'll never find me here. The membership is too expensive for him." For 3 weeks, it worked. Then on November 11th, 2023, a Facebook account under the name Johnny Dallas posted a single message: "Getting my lifetime membership back. See you soon." Mira saw the post that night. She knew immediately it was Victor. She called the police. She called Lifetime's management. She called everyone she could think of. 3 days later, Mira Santos disappeared. November 14th, 2023. The day everything changed. Mira finished her last training session at 11 a.m. She told her client she was going to grab lunch and run some errands. She never came back. Her car was found that evening in the parking lot of a Walmart 3 miles from the gym. Doors unlocked, purse inside, phone inside, keys in the ignition. The phone is what got me. Mira never went anywhere without her phone. It was like an extension of her arm, for it to just be sitting there in the car. Police initially treated it as a missing persons case. But the private investigator hired by Mira's family found something the police missed. Surveillance footage from the Walmart parking lot showed Mira arriving at 11:47 a.m. She parked, got out, and started walking toward the store. Then, a silver sedan pulled up beside her. You can see her body language change immediately. She freezes. Then she turns and looks at the driver, and then, this is the part that haunts me, she gets in the car. She gets in voluntarily. The investigator believed Mira recognized the driver, and whatever he said to her made her get in that car. Maybe he threatened someone she loved. Maybe he told her he'd hurt her family if she didn't come with him. We'll never know for sure. The silver sedan was a rental, rented that morning from an enterprise location in Tempe. The name on the rental agreement, John Dallas, the same name from the Facebook post. Victor Salinas had been planning this for weeks. For 6 days, Mira Santos was missing. Her family flew in from the Philippines. Her friends organized search parties. The private investigator worked around the clock, pulling surveillance footage from every business within a 5-mile radius of that Walmart. I've worked a lot of missing persons cases, but this one was different. We had a suspect. We had his name, his face, his car, and we still couldn't find him. Then on November 20th, a restaurant employee noticed something strange in the parking lot of a steakhouse near 75th Avenue and Encanto. A silver sedan had been parked in the same spot for days. The windows were fogged. There was a smell. When police arrived, they found 2 bodies inside. One in the driver's seat, one in the passenger seat. The driver was Victor Salinas. Self-inflicted gunshot wound. The passenger was Mira Santos. Shot once in the head. Police believe she died within hours of getting into that car 6 days earlier. The medical examiner said she'd been dead since November 14th, which means he sat there with her body for almost a week. I can't even imagine what was going through his mind. But here's what makes this case even more disturbing. Police found a notebook in the car, Victor's journal. In it, he'd written his version of events, that Mira had picked up the gun accidentally, that it went off, that it was all a tragic mistake. But investigators knew that was a lie. The gun Victor used didn't have a manual safety. His story was impossible. He also wrote that he'd changed her clothes so she wouldn't be dirty, that he'd driven around with her body for hours before finally parking at that steakhouse. He wrote in that journal like he was the victim, like he was the one who'd been wronged. After everything he did to her, he still couldn't see that he was the monster. Victor Salinas had been obsessed with Mira Santos for 18 months. He'd followed her across 4 gyms. He'd sent her nearly 1,000 messages. He'd tracked her movements, photographed her car, memorized her schedule. And in the end, he decided that if he couldn't have her, no one could. Because Victor Salinas killed himself, there was no trial. No justice in the traditional sense, just a case file and a dead woman who deserved so much more. But in the months after Mira's death, investigators uncovered something that made the tragedy even worse. Victor Salinas had done this before. We found records of a restraining order from 2018. A woman in New Mexico. Same pattern. Met her at a gym, sent hundreds of messages, followed her when she tried to leave. She was lucky. She moved out of state before he escalated. There was another woman in 2015, and possibly another in 2012. Victor Salinas had been stalking women for over a decade. Each time, the system failed to stop him. Each time, he learned what he could get away with. Mira's death wasn't random. It was the inevitable result of a system that doesn't take stalking seriously until someone ends up dead. After Mira's case made the news, Arizona lawmakers introduced what they called Mira's Law, a bill that would make repeated unwanted contact a felony after 3 documented incidents, regardless of whether the messages contained explicit threats. The old standard was that the messages had to be threatening. But stalkers are smart. They know how to word things. "You look beautiful today" isn't a threat. But when someone sends it to you 500 times after you've told them to stop, it's not a compliment anymore. It's a promise. Mira's Law passed in 2024. It was the first stalking reform bill in Arizona in over 15 years. Mira Santos was 27 years old when she died. She'd been in the country for 5 years. She was 8 months away from opening her own fitness studio. She had a name picked out and everything. Rise Fitness. Because she always said the best part of her job was watching people rise to challenges they didn't think they could handle. Rise Fitness never opened. But because of Mira, the law finally rose to meet a challenge it had been ignoring for decades. Mira Santos switched gyms 4 times. She filed police reports. She documented everything. She built a folder with 847 pieces of evidence. She told everyone who would listen that if something happened to her, Victor Salinas was responsible. She literally predicted her own death. She told people exactly who would kill her, and no one could stop it. The system wasn't designed to protect women like Mira. It was designed to wait until they were already victims. Victor Salinas sent almost 1,000 messages. He followed her across 4 gyms. He tracked her car, memorized her schedule, rented a vehicle under a fake name to kidnap her. And every time someone could have stopped him, they didn't. Because the messages were just compliments. Because he hadn't made direct threats. Because standing in a parking lot watching someone isn't technically a crime. Mira Santos was 27 years old. She moved to America to build a better life. She worked 6 days a week. She made everyone around her want to try harder. And she died in the passenger seat of a rental car, 3 miles from the gym she thought would finally keep her safe. The last message Victor sent before he found her said, "See you soon." He kept that promise.